Every DayZ player must at least once try building a base. See, DayZ is known for its unforgiving gameplay. When you die, you lose everything you have, but with a base, you have a home, somewhere to store your supplies and head back to after you die. I'm not gonna lie though, while it's a great experience to build a base, they are easily raidable in the current patch of the game. So if you play the PC version, I strongly recommend you try building a base on a server which has better raid balance. For those playing vanilla, a secret stash is a far easier and safer way to secure your loot, and I'll show you some tips for making large hard to find stashes later on in the video. But first, let's get into the basics of building a base. In DayZ, you can build either two structures, a fence or a watchtower. You only really need to find 4 basic supplies to construct a fence or a watchtower. A piece of rope, which can easily be crafted from combining 2 stacks of 6 rags together. A hatchet, this is the most multi-purpose tool in DayZ base building. It can be used to cut trees. Alternatively, you could use a splitting axe or fire axe. Gather planks from a plank pile, but instead you could use a hacksaw. To construct a structure, but instead you could use a hammer. Or to disassemble structures, alternatively you can use a crowbar, sledge, fire axe or hacksaw. A shovel will also be needed in order to build a base for our structure, and finally we will need nails, and a lot of them. See, it takes 36 nails to fully construct a fence and an additional 15 for the platform stairs. Additional supplies which will come in handy are 2 large backpacks for transporting planks and a lot of duct tape for repairing our tools. Metal wire and pliers are also needed in order to create a gate. A combination lock, preferably 4 digits, in order to lock this gate. Camera netting and barbed wire for some primitive defense, and some form of storage device. However, we can just make our own. So first, let's start with building a basic fence. We will first need to head to a nearby bush to collect 2 small sticks. We will then combine this with our rope to create a fence kit. Remember, rope can be crafted by combining 2 stacks of 6 rags together. We can then hold this fence kit in our hands and start to deploy it. This allows us to choose where we want to place the fence. These sticks indicate where the logs will be placed. Just remember, the logs are wider than these sticks, so the wall will be slightly longer. After we have chosen our appropriate spot, we can place it. After that, we will take either our hatchet or axe and cut down a tree for a log. The tree will have to be a fair size in order for us to get a log. If you are building a large base, you may notice this bar rise. This is your soft skill and will eventually give you added benefits such as getting 2 logs from 1 tree. We will need 2 logs in order to build a fence. We will then carry and attach these logs to our fence. We can then use our shovel to create the fence base by digging the logs into the ground. Just simply look at the center of the fence kit. After we have built the base of the fence, we can start attaching the planks. Well, there's 2 ways we can get planks in this game. We can either take them from plank piles which spawn at set locations around the map, or we can use a hacksaw to turn a log into 3 planks. If you have a high soft skill, you may get up to 5 planks from a log. Using a hacksaw to get planks from a log is easy but very time consuming. Alternatively, we can go find plank piles. While plank piles spawn in set positions at lumber mills around the map, there is a limit on how many will spawn, meaning you could go to a lumber mill and find no plank piles. I recommend you using Eyes of Eve to locate nearby possible plank locations to your base and checking them out. Once you have found a plank pile, take 2 large bags and maybe some buddies with you, and using a hacksaw or a hatchet, gather the planks from the plank pile. Fill your bags with planks, carrying 1 bag in your hand and 1 bag on your back. You can stack up to 20 planks, but it can be buggy. A tip is that you can only stack a larger or equal number onto an existing stack. To build a fence, it will take 18 planks and 36 nails. We then look at the pile with our hatchet or hammer. First, we can either create the bottom or top frame. Doing either of these will cost us 4 planks and 8 nails. After creating a frame, we can attach additional planks to the frame. This will take 5 planks and 10 nails. Remember, we don't have to create a full frame. You can create either half and then attach planks to it for a lower fence, or the opposite for a little crawly bit. We have now created our first solid fence. Additionally, with 5 planks and 15 nails, we can add a shooting platform. This allows us to see over the fence. Instead of this, we could have turned it into a gate. This is simply done by attaching metal wire and then using pliers on it. Additionally, we should add a lock to this. Just remember to set the code before you're putting it on. If you don't do it, it's probably 1111. We can add camouflage or barbed wire to either our fence or gate. By finding camera netting at military locations, we can hang it on our fence. You can do this without adding a frame, so you can create some nice and cheap dividers by stringing camera net in between a base. For defense, we can add barbed wire. While this is easily destroyed with pliers, it will damage anyone who touches it. You used to be able to electrocute the wire, but it was removed. I'm sure it will return though. You add barbed wire to it either at the top or the bottom. Just simply find some barbed wire and attach it to the gate, and then use the pliers to assemble it. Remember, if you attach it to the gate, it will not move with the gate, so you'll have to jump over it to avoid damage. To build a watchtower kit, we will follow the same principles of building a fence. First, we will need to gather 4 sticks and then combine this with a piece of rope in order to get a watchtower kit. When placing a watchtower kit, remember the side in which the white line is not shown is the side in which you cannot build any walls. Building a watchtower kit is pretty much like building 3 walls, but it's a lot cheaper. You will need 4 logs in order to build the base of a watchtower. Building a wall frame only costs 5 nails and 2 planks. The same cost of 5 nails and 2 planks goes for the wooden paneling. Build these walls in whichever way suits your base. You don't have to complete or construct any of these walls in order to build the other levels. To build the other levels, you will need 20 nails and 10 planks to construct the roof of the first floor. You will then need an additional 18 nails and 6 wooden planks to build stairs to access them. Once you are up here, you will need another 4 logs to construct the next level. Remember, you need to construct this level with a hatchet or hammer, not a shovel. You then repeat the process of the first level. You then reach your final level. In order to construct a roof for this final level, you will have to use 20 nails, 6 sheet metal and 6 wooden planks. Having just mentioned sheet metal, this is probably a good time to point out you can swap out the wooden paneling of a wooden wall for sheet metal instead. However, do remember sheet metal is harder to come by, so you'll probably want to save it for your watchtower roofs. A tip I'd like to point out is that you cannot crawl through the frames of a wall, so extra paneling is not necessary. Another tip is that with these military HESCO barricades, you can place them anywhere where there is a dirt texture below you, allowing for some very creative spots. Hopefully I've given you enough information to come up with some of your own creative and unique bases. You can spice up your base by adding electricity. This can help during the stupidly dark nights of DayZ. As of now, you can only really use electricity on either construction lights or Christmas lights. Now, you can also charge car batteries, which you can then use to power construction lights, but it is a lot easier just to attach it to a power generator. So first you're going to have to locate a generator, and they are heavy so they can be annoying to transport. Once you have your generator, place it and you will need to attach a spark plug. You will then have to fill the generator with gasoline. You can then turn it on and start producing power. After setting up your floodlights around your base using cable wheel, you can attach up to 4 floodlights to your generator. To use Christmas lights, you will need to attach the cable to the generator, place the cable by the tent, and then you can attach the cable lights to the cable and then place it inside of your tent. Like I said earlier, bases are easily raided. If you want to protect your stuff, create a stash. This can be as basic as burying a container in the middle of the woods. A good tip is to cut down a tree, bury the stash where the trunk was, and then upon restart the tree will regrow, which will cover the stash. If you're not ashamed of using glitches, you can hide hidden stashes in train tracks, graveyards, sandpits and under radio towers. Another good way to hide your loot, and this is something all the pre-release players will remember, is to place a barrel under some water. Now the game won't actually let you place it, but you can just drop it with a hotkey or drag it out of your inventory. Alternatively, if you can't find a barrel, you can use a lot of these small wooden crates. As you could probably tell in this video, I am recovering from being very sick, so that's why my voice sounds a bit funny. But I tried to get this video out as quick as possible, so if you do build a base using this tutorial, please send me a picture in my Discord, it will be linked below.